Hey, it's Aaron from GameEnthus.com. Today I'm checking out a game called Birds of a Feather. No, not quite. That's just a really hard swing in the other direction. Anyway, Birds of a Feather was designed by Teale Fristoe with art from Trevor Fristoe and Quill Kolat. It's being published by Snowbright Studios. So the theme around Birds of a Feather is you are bird watchers going out trying to find birds of different habitats. But you only really score points for the habitat that you're in. So you're trying to see how many birds you can get access to and see from the habitat that you happen to be in at the time. The game can play from 2 to 7 players, but also 1 player as there is a solo mode in the game. So players are going to be filling out a score sheet that looks something like this and trying to get points based on the birds that they're seeing, given the habitats that they happen to be in at the time. As in many games, in Birds of a Feather, you are trying to get the most points to win. So let me show you how the game looks and works on the table. Keep in mind this is a prototype, so things from the back of the cards to maybe some little iconography on the cards will be changing in the final version of the game, just so you know. So we put on the table, show you how it works, and then I'll meet you back here. As I mentioned before, this is a prototype copy of Birds of a Feather, so some of the art is going to be very different in the final game, including the back of the cards. So the back of the cards will not look like this in the final game. It will be completely different.
Now, are there any questions? Keeping in mind that I already explained about
the back of the cards.
Yeah, that's right.
I just want to make sure that that was mentioned and that was clear. In Birds of a Feather, as I mentioned, you're going to have various types of birds living in various habitats. So this would be an example of some of the birds and habitats in the game. So you're going to have birds that live in the ocean, the wetlands, mountainous regions, the forest, and the desert. And you see this different iconography in the upper left corner. So for the most part, you're really concerned about getting points in the game. And I'll show you that in just a second. So the icon in the upper left corner, which may be subject to change, some of the artwork as well, let me mention that, are worth varying points. So pretty much anything with a feather, be it 1, 2, or 3, are all going to be worth 1 point. The eggs are worth no points. The single wings are somewhat rare. Those are worth 1 point. And then the double wings, I believe, are referred to as the ace, and those are going to be worth 2 points. In addition to collecting all of the colors types also gives additional points. There's also small dots on the bottom of each card underneath the bird's scientific names that refer to the quantity, rarity of those cards in the deck. 1, there's not a whole lot of them. 2, there's a little bit more. 3, there's a lot, and so on and so forth. The game plays pretty quickly. Let me show you how a couple of rounds of a 4-player game might work. In a 4-player game, regular game, everybody will start off with 15 cards. There's also a migration variant where you can do some card drafting, where you might pass 2 or 3 cards based on number of players to the player on your left. That comes with probably having some more experience with the game and kind of knowing how it works. There are really no turns in Birds of a Feather. Every player would put down an arrival bird and things will begin. So any card that has the 2 feathers are going to be worth 2 points at the end of the game. So let's say player 1 will play that card. Player 2 might play that one. Player 3 is going to play that one because they're not sure what anyone else is going to put out. So player 3 will play this card. Everybody will reveal their cards simultaneously. The initial arriving cards will become the lingering cards for subsequent rounds. So player 1 and player 3 would both get some points because they both played birds in the same habitat. So player 1 and player 3 would get 2 points for the ace and a single point for the 2 feather, as you see reflected onto the score sheet. So they both get 3 points for that round. For the purple card as well, players 2 and 4 would also get points because your arrival birds also count as birds that you're seeing when you arrive to that habitat. The whole point is you want to use cards, you want to score more points off of what's already out there, whether it's in front of you or not. So everybody would score a little something in this round because player 1 and player 3 score 3 each. Player 2 and player 4 score 2. So depending on what the type of game you're playing, you can play without the Raptors, but if you are playing with the Raptors, these scare away lingering birds. So where player 1 to play this card in the next round, any lingering bird in the same habitat would be scared away, meaning these cards would go away and now they're out of the game. So that's sort of the fear that everybody is in. If you're trying to build to something and you're trying to, you're looking at your own score sheet, trying to make sure you mark off things. If you're trying to go for maybe all of the birds in a habitat, which is worth a nice amount of points, you don't want somebody to pull out a raptor and then scare away all those same birds, all those birds not from that particular habitat. That's the last thing you want to happen. All right, so looking at here, player 1's going to play a card, player 2, player 3, and then player 4. Everybody reveal at the same time. Raptors coming in will scare away any lingering birds in the same environment. So player 4 already scored this bird. So you can only score this bird one time. So per your score sheet. So it doesn't mean anything to them to have this bird go away. If somebody else is dependent upon it, oh well. When Raptors come in, Raptors scare away any lingering birds. Then everybody goes about scoring their arriving birds. So predators first, then the other arriving birds. So player 1 is playing this bird, and they're going to count this one and that one. Isn't that nice? So they already got these two in the first round, but now they're going to get these two as well. Okay, so player 2 is going to have a chance to score. They already scored this bird when it initially came out, so they're going to have a chance to score this bird. And then player 3 is going to get a chance to score this bird because it's a bird that they're seeing in the same habitat. They're all in the mountainous regions. So they already scored these two, the one they put out, and then player 1's bird. So player 3 and player 1 both have 4 of the purple birds already scored. That's pretty good. What will happen next is the lingering birds will go away, and the arrival birds are now the new lingering birds. The raptor birds are no longer a threat once they are lingering birds. It means they're already there. They've kind of gotten along with everybody. I'm not sure how that works thematically, but they came in, they were hungry, they ate. They've eaten. They're good. And the game will continue on like that. Everybody would continue playing cards, one single card from their hand, face down, with them at the same time, trying to maximize what's there. And that is essentially how Birds of a Feather plays. So that's Birds of a Feather. It is currently on Kickstarter, and I definitely dig it. I have not played the previous version. This was my first time playing it. I brought it to the table, and I did enjoy it. It is quick. It's a relatively small box game, but there is some strategy in it. There is definitely a strategy to capitalizing on what's there and hedging those bets about what Raptor cards have been played and which ones haven't, which definitely indicate what cards you should play, because if you put cards out there that are worth, especially those 2-point cards, you put that out there and you haven't calculated the potential risk on that Raptor coming out and scaring that bird away, that could be bad. So anyway, it's Birds of a Feather. It's on Kickstarter. I think it's fun. If you think it's fun or think it's fun for you or somebody else or everybody, you should back it. Back it to the point that they send one to you. Also, if you back it, I believe you have an opportunity to get into the beta for the pretty cool app that allows you to have a digital score sheet and play the game solo, which you can do with the cards. But this is a solo app. People like apps and games. I do. Don't you? Anyway, I'm Aaron from GameEnthus.com. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, stay safe, and be blessed.